And Nick Ending joins me, head coach of the Argus Dragons here. You've got one of those teams that's so young, it's hard probably to get a handle on them, but it looks like you have had a little success here over the last week or so since the last time we talked. Got a nice win over Lakeland Christian, and Triton's doing what they did to you to a lot of people. That's a really good team.
Yeah, I think we've showed some improvement on the defensive end. Lakeland Christian game, I was really happy with how we played defensively, only giving up 40 points. A lot of that was kind of caused by how we played on offense a little bit, giving up some points, but in the half court we were really good. And Triton game, they shot really well. We kind of had to pick our battles on what we were going to give them and what we were going to try to take from them. And they hit a lot of shots early and kind of opened things up and got away from us there. But in the last week, I thought, we had a little bit better focus in practice, and we were ready to roll on Tuesday against Lakeland Christian. Going to Triton's always going to be a tough game, and we just kind of tried to come out of that with some positive. And there wasn't a lot of positive there, but we're moving on, and we got obviously one of our bigger games of the year tomorrow or tonight.
Let's talk about your guys a little bit. You mentioned practice a lot when we talk, and learning to practice is one of the biggest things for a young team, especially freshmen, sophomores. They're not used to what that's like at a varsity level. How do you feel about the way practice goes? Are you guys learning how they need to go at it?
Yeah, we kind of changed up a little bit. We've had a week here in between Triton game and Culver. We've done some things a little bit different, try to make practice more competitive. And I'm going to be honest, they don't love it as much as they need to. Because they need to learn to compete in everything they do when we're on the basketball floor. And I think especially the younger guys think of it practice as in, oh, we just got to do it today, get through it, and we're not going to get any better if we just keep going through the motions. So we did some things different this past week, and I don't think they necessarily like it, but I think it's best for us to do things this way. And I'm hoping it pays some dividends down the road here. I want those younger guys to compete. We try to split the teams evenly as much as we can in practice, and so Zayden and Makai are always going at each other. Put a few guys on Mac to make his life difficult. So we just I want our guys to bring it every day, and I want our guys just to compete all the time. Score regardless of the score every night. If it's a Tuesday on the road or a big rivalry game at home, I want our guys to compete the full 32 minutes, and we need to do that in practice.
I hear a lot of coaches talk about that, and I was always, when I in my playing days, win every rep of every drill, and that's how you learn to win. You ought to go to practice wanting to win every minute of practice.
Yeah, we did a lot of team stuff, competitive wise. We also make it individual. I would say more individual competition earlier in the year, but our guys, it's just like a game, every possession matters, not turning the ball over, not having a breakdown on defense, and you need to practice that way. I think, again, being young, we don't necessarily look at it that way all the time. You play a game on a Thursday and then you look on the schedule, oh, we don't play again until the following Thursday. I think Friday and Saturday there for younger groups, kind of like, oh, let's just get through it. But I want our guys, every rep, like if there's a mistake, we need to fix it on the spot, do it again, do it until we don't mess it up anymore instead of just getting it right one time. So that's kind of how we operate.
I also hear from a lot of coaches at this point in the year, and we've talked about how young you are, and you are extremely young. But they say, it's the time of the year now where, freshmen aren't freshmen anymore. Sophomores aren't sophomores anymore. It ought to be clicking in about here. Are you seeing some things click in with your young guys that, they're starting to get an understanding of what it's going to take?
Yeah, and that's funny you bring that up because we've talked about that, after Christmas break. I'm like, I think everybody, there's no excuses on lack of varsity experience now. Makai Zane played quite a bit of varsity as freshman. Mac played a lot last year and obviously plays a lot this year. So, yeah, I think our guys are kind of understanding, what it takes on the day in level, like we've discussed. But, still young. Every other team's, been through 17 games or whatever, so they're feeling the same way. We're seeing some individual improvement here and there. It's just last year we kind of made the turn right after the Culver game. I think Culver was our last win, but we were very competitive towards the end of the year that I was proud of. We didn't necessarily have wins to show for that, but I'm hoping we kind of have that going in to the last 2 weeks of the regular season here in sectional beyond. So, we're seeing improvement. I'm hoping we can use these last 2 weeks of the regular season to playing our best basketball when the sectional rolls around.
Do you feel like you've gotten to the point you kind of wanted to be at this level, or at this point in the season, or I mean, are you behind the curve, ahead of the curve? Where do you think you're at on where you thought you'd be?
I don't know if I ever definitively say, like this is where I want us to be at this point. I just want us to keep getting better.
Yeah.
And I really struggle with when it seems like we take a couple steps backwards. I think the Bi-County week, I was really disappointed. I thought we took some steps backwards when we had an opportunity to really, make some strides and win some ball games there. So, just as long as we bring it every day and try to get better, I want us playing our best basketball sectional time and whatever that is. You could tell after you play the game and how our guys compete. I can feel it's pretty obvious seeing them every day if we're getting better or not. And that's just where we want to be. We want to be playing our best basketball in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully it starts tonight.
Argus head coach Nick Kindig. Kyle Evans, head coach at Culver, joins us in this section. Looks like you've had a good stretch here. I mean, I know a couple of blips, but both those teams that got you were, they have 6 losses between both of them. So, the couple of tough ones in a row. But it seems like you found some things.
Yeah, we've been happy with the offensive end of the floor. It's something we've been struggling with all year. And, we started, we had some good moments. And, scoring, I just think about going back even to last year with this group, they averaged like 24, 25 points a game. And offense had been a huge struggle all year for us. But for us to be scoring in the 40s against quality opponents, Washington Township, their only losses on the year were they lost twice to the number 1 team in the state. They lost another game to the number 5 team in the state in 1A, and then they lost to their other loss was to Chesterton, who's a top 20 team in the entire polls of Indiana for all classes. So, and then DeMont Christian, who's like 16-2.
Yeah.
They for us to be able to do some things well on the offensive end against those teams, we're really excited about and pleased with. And we're hoping that kind of, provides some confidence moving down the last stretch.
I know that, it's that time of the year. For the first part of the year, people talk about how you have a young team or whatever. I mean, but, coaches now I hear them say all the time, they're not sophomores anymore. They've had a year of experience here. You feel like your guys are kind of getting it?
Well, I think a lot of it is truly confidence. I've had, one of my sophomores, Colton Howard, who the last 2 games have scored 14 and 17 off the bench. He'll flat out tell me, I just feel a lot more confident on the floor. And so, with youth, a lot of it is confidence. If they start feeling uncomfortable, that's when mistakes happen and that's when they struggle. And I think a lot of it as a team has just been confidence. We've always been, as a team, played extremely hard on the defensive end and, did some things well on that end, but really lacked confidence on the offensive end. And I think that's part of it. And it's really good to see from our younger guys. But, you're late in the season now. You're kind of at that point where are we better or worse right now? Because it's either pack it in time or get it, turn it loose for sectional time. And we believe, and our kids believe, that we are playing our absolute best basketball this past month in January. We are drastically better than we were in November and December. And, I told our kids last night after practice, they show up every day. They work their butts off. They take coaching well, and they continue to improve every day. And that's why they've seen this growth over the season. So, you talk about that, sophomores aren't sophomores anymore, but they are, mentally and physically. And, but the development and growth throughout the last 3 months have been really strong for us.
Do you think some of it might have been a little bit of a period of adjustment? I mean, it's not like you were new to these guys, but there was a year where there was a new system, a new way of doing things. And did it take a little time for them to get back into, okay, this is the way coach wants things?
I think yes and no. Obviously it was a much faster transition just because most of the upperclassmen I've had, and but these sophomores, they had not really truly played in the system yet, and we defensively, it was small things, but it was truly just effort. If you're just getting them to play with effort, and we got that from them right away. So that's why we were so far ahead of ourselves defensively compared to the offensive end. But a drastic system change offensively from last year to this year. And I think that was the biggest change. And, I think that's where, that adjustment period comes in, and you're starting to see now, 4 months into what we do, you're starting to see some success from those guys. So I certainly think that plays a part of it, but it certainly wasn't as long as like a brand new coach coming in that they don't have any idea about. But, that was part of it. And I think that's kind of why, we've started to kind of hit our stride on the offensive end more.
And, we'll be right back. And Colton Reynolds joins us, wrestler from Triton. You're headed for the semi-state tomorrow, right?
Yep.
But I'm guessing by the time we play this, you may already be warming up. We'll be playing this on the show on Saturday morning. But let's walk through what's going to be your typical day today. I mean, you told me tonight you're going to go to a hotel. It's East Chicago is where the semi-state is. I mean, what's the itinerary for you tomorrow?
Yeah, so today I'm just going to get in the room, get a good practice after school, just kind of light today. This week's been a little harder, but today it'll be just a nice, good drill, get the lungs going a little bit, and then we'll head for the hotel. It's a tradition that we always eat Outback Steakhouse, so we'll do that, get it nice and loaded up. I'm plenty underweight, so I'll stuff up.
Got to get that protein in, huh?
Oh yeah. So then at the hotel, just get good sleep, have some fun, and mentally prepare for tomorrow. A good day of wrestling.
Talk about your workout. I mean, you said it was kind of tough this week. I mean, how much do you push yourself at this point in the season?
So it's not super on your body physically hard, but we really pushed the lungs this week with a lot of we did running, we did rapid takedowns, which those are one of the hardest conditioners we do. It'll be 2-3 minutes at a time of just shooting as many doubles as you can, stuff like that. So one of the worst things was hopping on the air bikes, and we would do intervals of that. We'll get a good pace going, get a good sprint for like 30, 45 seconds at a time. So that was tough. We did stuff like that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then yesterday we kind of calmed it down a little more. And then today will just be a cruise, good drill practice.
How much do you work out in the off season for wrestling? I mean, I know you're a multi-sport guy. You do more than just wrestling. But, I mean, how much do you do that's kind of wrestling specific over the course of the year?
I've always done a good amount. I've never really been the type of guy that goes to any camps or anything. I've stayed kind of in the Triton room, which, honestly, I probably could have done a little more with that. But yeah, I do a lot. I get into the room in the spring, summer. Once football starts, it kind of slows down. But before football starts, I'm definitely in there a lot in the Triton wrestling room.
Talk about when did you start wrestling? I mean, did you start at a young age?
I started in 7th grade, so it wasn't bad. One of my football coaches is the one that convinced me. I really did not want to, but it ended up being it was one of the best decisions of my life, so I'm glad I did.
Well, I mean, I hear so much. I had a son who was a wrestler and a football player too, and he talked about how, wrestling's all about leverage, and he got a lot from the wrestling skill set that helped him in football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about your football a little bit. Okay, the reason I really wanted to talk to you, man, is because every one of your coaches I've talked to is just ecstatic you were on their team. They just love coaching you. Why do you think that is?
I I think I just try to push myself every day. I like to think I've been one of the hardest workers around for a while. And I really focus on trying to be a better leader every day and a better worker every single day. And I think that's probably one of the things
Your
that they
football
like.
your football coach talked to me a lot about your willingness to do what the team needed you to do, even though it might not have been what you wanted to do. I mean, do you feel what is it about you that makes you that way, do you think?
Um, just the love for my brothers. I mean, rather I'd rather be a role player on a winning team than a star player on a bad team and let everyone else suffer.
When did you start playing football?
Fifth grade.
Fifth grade. Okay, you run track as well, I think. Am I right?
No, no, sir.
Okay. Just the two. What between the two, which one is your favorite?
That's a tough question for me. When I'm in football, I like football, but when I'm in wrestling, I like wrestling. So I really like the team part about football, but there's nothing like the feeling of being able to physically dominate someone on the mat. So I don't know.
Talk about that a little bit too. I mean, you're out there alone, and it's just you
Hmm.
and that light and that other guy. I mean, what is that like?
It's awesome. I think that's going to be something that I miss the most after this is done is just the adrenaline of, bouncing around before the match, being all nervous, going out there, and just the adrenaline of like when there's a blood time and you're just breathing heavy and the adrenaline's getting to you. It's a great feeling and I love it.
When did that start for you? I mean, I'm sure it didn't start in the seventh grade. I mean, when did that feeling just start? That was what drove you.
I think it kind of started when I started winning some matches because I mean, no one starts out amazing. So in seventh grade, I kind of got my butt kicked a little bit, but then I worked hard that off season. So I would say about eighth grade is when that nervousness started kicking in because I'd say I knew I was able to win some matches, and that just kind of made me more nervous, more adrenaline.
Yeah, one of the things I always heard from wrestlers that talk about their early days, they said we learned to count lights on the ceiling, which,
Yeah.
which was kind of a funny way to put it. But I mean, what did it feel like the first time you won a match?
um, it felt great. I mean, it was just good because, yeah, like I said in seventh grade, I don't even know. I think I won 2 matches the whole year. So, and then I worked hard that off season. I was decent my eighth grade year. So that jump just felt amazing because I knew how hard I had worked.
When did this become a visible goal? That idea of maybe I can get to the state finals, maybe I can get all the way to the end. I mean, when did that become something you felt like that was a realistic thing to think?
I think my sophomore to junior year, I started winning a lot more matches, feeling good. I started being able to really take control of a lot of my matches, and I felt like I just knew I could compete with those top guys.
Talk about the strategy of being out there. I mean, a lot of people think, I'm sure, that haven't been around wrestling, that you just go out there and you do whatever you do. I mean, there's a mental process to this, right? I mean, a strategy
Yeah.
to how you want to approach that guy. Walk us through that.
So my strategy is just pace overall. Like I'm gonna come out on the mat and just work hard for 6 minutes straight. Spam double legs. I'm gonna have a great gas tank. I just love to be in their face, constant wrestling the whole time, jogging back to the center after we go out of bounds. Just high pace, high intensity, and a lot of people mentally break to that early, and a lot of people can't hang with it.
So yeah, I would say that would be something because I mean, it's not easy to do what you guys do. I mean, it is incredibly
No,
difficult physically, and seeing somebody like that, I'm sure, has a mental effect on them.
yeah, definitely.
Now, have you uh, wrestled the guy you're going to wrestle here in first before? I mean, you probably know most of the wrestlers that are going to be there tomorrow. I mean, how have you wrestled any of them before?
No, I have not wrestled anyone in my path to get to state yet, so just kind of watched a little bit of film on them. not a whole lot of my game plan is going to change. So, I mean, just going to go out and wrestle hard, like always.
I was going to say, I know there's a certain amount of scouting in it where you can actually get some film of these guys and break them down. I mean, how does that help you?
It definitely helps when there's one or two things you need to watch out for. Like my regional match to go to semi-state, this kid was really good at an arm roll. So we knew once I was on top, just got to watch out for that. But most of our fighting will be in neutral. But for these guys, there hasn't been a whole lot that I need to specifically watch out for. You know, they're just good wrestlers, good fundamentals. So I'm just going to go out and wrestle what I wrestle and have a good pace and work hard and win the match.
Are there any ranked guys in your path?
I'm not sure. I think, yeah, I don't know that.
Who feeds in there? I mean, there is no class in wrestling either. I mean, it could be anybody, right?
Yep. In Indiana, we got everybody.
Do you like that?
I do, because it means a lot more to go as far as you do. I like to think that if I go to semi-state in Indiana, I'd probably be able to compete for state in some of these other states, because they don't even wrestle half the people that we do. So
let's talk about you a little bit. I mean, do you have a favorite class in school, favorite subject?
I would say history's kind of always been my favorite.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I was going to be a history teacher before fame and fortune hit me. So, yeah, I got to agree with you. There's nothing better. Do you like American history, like world history? I mean, what's your favorite?
Probably American history.
How about school? Have you thought about going to college?
Yeah, I thought about it a little bit, but I'm not really sure right now. I think I kind of want to be an electrician in the future. So we're seeing what's going on with that right now.
You could do a lot worse than that. My son went that path. You can set yourself up for a nice life if you can get involved with that. So good luck to you on that.
Thank you.
You know, I'm sure you have family members. Your mom and dad. What are their names?
My mom's name is Angie and my dad's name is Justin.
And do you have any brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have 4. So I have Wesley, Allie, Caleb, and Tristan.
Are they older or younger?
They're all older than me.
They're all older.
So I have one of them. One of them's 1 year older than me in college, and the rest of them are all working and have their own houses and stuff. So
I'm assuming you probably got a little wrestling experience around the house from time to time. Am I right?
yeah, a little bit of roughhousing. Having to defend myself.
Being the youngest, you always have to defend yourself. I had a house full of boys too, and I have to give them credit. At least they beat each other up quietly. I didn't know what was going on a lot of the time. But, well, man, I want to thank you for taking time to talk to us. Good luck to you today, and I'm sure we'll talk in the future.
All right, thank you.
It's Colton Reynolds from Triton. He's going to be wrestling the semi-state today. So stay tuned. We're going to take a break. And Plymouth head baseball coach Ryan Wolf joins me in this segment. I always I try to hold on. I've had your number to text up on my phone at least once in December, a couple of times in January. It's just, you know, I just got to force myself to hold off till February. But baseball season is around the corner, and I know you guys don't stop. You don't have like a 3-month contract. You've been at it from whenever. So let's talk some baseball. How's your off season been?
Yeah, good. I usually don't get too excited until the snow drifts or the snow piles are below my head, and that finally happened here this week. So I'm starting to get a little optimistic. But yeah, it's been going good. We limited contact allows us to go a couple times a week with kids for 2 hours each, so each kid can go 2 hours twice a week. And yeah, we've been going really since we got back from Christmas break. Could have started a little bit before, but I don't really ever do that, just so we don't get burnt out. And yeah, we just get back at it. So yeah, we've been going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights. I've had to split the kids up. We've had I don't know 30 to 32 kids with us all winter.
Wow.
So having one cage, not
Yeah.
real productive when you got 30. So yeah, it's been a little bit more work, or time on my end, but yeah, Tuesday nights like Team One goes for 2 hours. Then everyone comes Wednesday because all my coaches are there with me because we go a little bit later. And then Team Two, the younger guys go on Thursday, so it gives me a little bit of an opportunity to kind of differentiate what we do with the younger and older kids, and then the time together is really good because all my coaches are there, and then obviously it's always good when older kids can show the younger kids what to do, and the younger kids can see what it takes, where they need to be and where they want to get to. So it's been really good. Again, we're always anxious about this time to at least see some turf on the football field maybe at some point. So next week we might get our wish. So hopefully maybe next week we can head out there and at least long toss, take some ground balls, things like that.
You know, you made a point earlier that I didn't think about until you mentioned it, but you know, the kids that don't do anything in the winter, you don't worry about that. You just want to get them off the couch and get the controller out of their hand and have them do something during the winter months. But you know, and I'm sure you had to do this too. The kids that are already in a sport, we had to run them out a lot. I mean, there were times we'd let them come in and swing a little bit, but you know, you're in something. And my old man always used to make sure that, you know, you take 2 weeks off before you get out there because you make a perfect point. I don't think anybody worries about burning kids out anymore. And that,
Yeah.
in my mind, that's a problem.
Well, and coaches too. Like
Yeah.
I tell so most of my coaches, 4 of them coach basketball, and 2 of them don't work in the school system. So they're lay coaches, and I mean, sometimes it's hard for me to fathom getting off at 5, not 3. So like, oh, people work till 5. Okay. Just in my world. But, yeah, I mean, I run it myself. On Tuesday nights, I'm the only one there with 15 to 18 kids. And on Thursday nights, I'm the only one there. I mean, that's my role. And then I would like all my coaches that can be there. But number one, I never get mad if they can't make it. Same way with kids. Like, as long as you tell me and you're honest,
Yeah.
like, I know. I mean, I'm not going to hound you. I mean, you know, hey, we're here for an opportunity to get better. I assume you want to be here, and if you can't be here, there's a good reason. And so that's where I'm at. And same way with kind of spring break, like especially for those winter kids that played a winter sport that
Yeah.
just comes off of. I mean, swimming. Geez, oh Pete, do
Oh,
they
yeah.
go at it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I mean, other than coming in maybe to throw a little bit, but I mean, I would assume your shoulder's ready to go swimming.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's so I don't know. I've always just been a fan of. Listen, when we hit the ground running on April 4th, which is our first game, you blink and baseball's over. And
Right.
you have 4 or 5 games. And what I don't want to happen is, yeah, you get burnt out with the end of school, with everything, and especially the seniors, with all the pressures that are on you for scholarships and where you're going to go next year. And I want baseball to be a time that's fun, not like another
Yeah.
something you have to do. And so, I don't know. It's just worked out well for us. I mean, I again, not tooting our horn, but we're going to have over 50 guys this year. I think we do. Our coaches have been around I've had the same coaches for the last 6 years. And I think a lot of that just has to do with that. I mean, what I just talked about, like, I mean, they know when we're there, my expectations, man, I want to win more than anyone. I want to work hard as anyone. I mean, that's our goal, but also know that I expect you to be a high school 16, 17, 8-year-old kid. I expect our coaches to spend time with their families and things like that too. So I think it's just worked out well for everyone.
I think, you know, I'm just going to throw it out there. I think the fact that you had 2 kids go through this, you know, the pressure's on them. I mean, all
Mhm.
summer long, they hear from, I'm not going to specifically name any sport, but they hear from other coaches, look, you got to be here. You got to be here. You got to be here. And, you know, they're just like, dude, I just want to go fishing today. I mean, I just, you
Yeah.
know, and that
Yeah.
gets lost is that they don't get to be kids. And then you got parents that are doing the same thing. And
Yeah.
it just becomes something where they don't want to do it anymore after they get done. And that's sad to me.
It is. And it is. It's I mean, if we want to point fingers to me at anyone, it is the IHSAA that's allowed some of these things to happen. Like,
Yeah,
and I'm not like you almost feel obligated as a coach to do some of these things,
Right.
like because if I'm not doing it, someone else is, and then I'm falling behind and whatnot. And again, we're old enough to know that. I mean, they didn't have all this stuff back when I was going through. Like, I mean, I didn't have to pick and choose different things. It is tough on kids, and believe me, that's just one thing that I've really in my mind said I'm not going to do. Like, I just don't want kids to have to pick because, you get some kids that were going to pick baseball because it's their favorite sport and they may be good at that. But if they pick baseball, then it's hurting the basketball team. And I also got kids that basketball is their number one sport, but man, they're a really good baseball player.
Right.
They may not be the best baseball player, but without them, we're not going to be as good. And so
Right.
I don't want them to just pick basketball. So we all need those kids.
Right.
And to me, it's just, I mean, as long as you're doing something, like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not sitting on your phone or sitting playing PlayStation. Like, I just, I mean, that's kind of the mindset I've went through. And I don't know. I also, too, if kids decide they don't want to play baseball anymore, I mean, I don't get mad. Like, I have a conversation with them. I still say, I make a point to say hi to them in the hallway. Like, I don't want them to feel like
that was your only
Just because they-
relationship.
exactly like just because they played baseball, that's why I like them. That's why I talk to them or things like that. Seriously, I want them to always look back at whether it's just a freshman year experience or 3 years experience. They decide not to play their senior year. I just wanted to look back like my time at Plymouth and part of Plymouth baseball, however long that was at least to enjoy. And Coach Wolf didn't hold anything against me just because I didn't want to play anymore for whatever reason. So
I think we're both just too old now. You'd start because, back when I was playing, which is, we were still drawing pictures on cave walls at night for entertainment, but it was supposed to be fun. I mean, that was, and as hard as my dad was on people, he's like, if it's not fun anymore, don't do it. Your life's too short. And, bottom line is, I'm here because I love doing this, and I think that even overrides talent sometimes. Love of what you're doing and being willing to do what it demands of you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's cliche, but don't let the pressure outweigh the pleasure. That goes back to Joe Madden a couple years ago with the Cubs. Like, in reality, that's what it is. And life and baseball and sports is just, if you're not having fun, like what is the point in doing it? And there's been times where it hasn't been fun for me, and it's usually because of something else. Like, something else is bothering me, because baseball's always been fun to me. But that's what I try to tell the kids. Like, listen, we'll work through anything, but when we're here for 2 hours and you walk in that fence at Bill Nixon Field, try to shut everything else off. It's going to be there, and it's not going away. Some of the things, you got an F on your test or this or that, but when you're with us, let's have fun. And then we'll figure out the rest of the stuff when practice is over or the game is over. But I want you to enjoy being around these people, these teammates, and the coaches, and just have fun. And then we'll figure it out. Like, we'll figure it out together. But make it fun, and it's much more enjoyable but also work hard, because I always tell them, what's fun? Winning.
Yeah,
that's fun, right? You still got to keep that in mind. Like, it's a lot more fun to win than it is to not win. So that and how do you win? You work hard. And so I think that's just become the expectation. Like, I mean, how do we win? Hey, we work hard. And then the fun comes from working hard, and you got to do some not fun things to enjoy the fun things.
You just gave me a PTSD flashback, man. I can't tell you.
Oh, yeah?
How many times I heard my dad say, I don't care if we win or lose, as long as we have fun, but I think you'll agree with me, it's a hell of a lot more fun to win. So
Yep.
That's
It always is.
That's the bottom line. I used to tell guys, you don't get paid to play this game, so you may as well enjoy it. But that isn't even changing, and we don't need to go into that. But
no, we don't need to go there.
Let's talk about your guys. I mean, you got some really good guys coming back. You got to feel pretty good about where you're at.
I do, yeah. I mean, we pretty much, obviously, we lost, as always, you lose some big pieces, and Preston and Trey and Austin and Brody, and they were all big pieces. to what we did last year in whatever way that was. But nonetheless, yeah, we do got a lot of pieces coming back. Our whole infield's for the most part back. I mean, we return the sectional lineup last year, 2 through, I mean, everyone for the most part. Preston led off for us. So, yeah, I think, I mean, my biggest just concern coming in was just the depth on the mound. I mean, we got Nick back, who had a really good year last year, kind of as our number 2. If you put numbers to guys, Dom's back. He fell into that relief role where, man, he was dominant the second half of the year. Grady's back. Grady really came on there late, threw some innings for us. He'll be back as a senior. Ethan Hall is back. He's going to probably throw a little bit for us this year. But yeah, across the infield, you got Ethan and Ben and Drake behind the plate and Parker and Aiden Macias got a lot of time last year, at least defensively. Got some swings in as a freshman, and then we had a really good JV last year. I think they finished a couple games over 500. Really good sophomore class, deep sophomore class. I think there was like 17 of them last year, and then you sprinkle in I think we're gonna have 18 freshmen this year. I think 17 or 18 freshmen. So yeah, we'll be pushing 50 guys. Which is great. A lot of competition. I mean, I've always not kept a whole lot on the varsity, but this year we may change that just because we're always like, man, I wish we had another runner today, or I wish we had a guy on the bench today. And I know it's a hard role to take and whatnot, but yeah, we got some pieces that we can probably fill in. And yeah, competition's never a bad thing either. I mean, that's what I always say. It always improves really the quality of play, because someone's could be waiting for you to take your spot, then pushes people to do a little bit more. So yeah, I really do. I think again on the mound, we just threw the other night on the mound, and I was very impressed with where we are. Tucker Sarver, a sophomore lefty, looks really good. We've had a couple guys move in from Triton this year. One of them, they're both sophomores. One could maybe see a little bit of time on a mound this year. So yeah, I feel pretty good of where we're at. Nonetheless, the conference, I look at what everyone else has coming back, and it'll be tough as well. But I think we should be right in the mix.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't get any breaks in your conference. I mean, everybody talks about it in football, and it is horrible in football, and it's horrible in basketball. But baseball, you don't get a night off at all, because you better bring your A game every time you play.
Yeah, and baseball is just a funny game, and I've had a couple conversations with people. It's just different when you can't pitch the same guy every night.
Yeah.
It's good and bad. I mean, because they can't either. So you're not always seeing their number one, but you're not always throwing. So you just got to find different ways to win. That's one thing I think. I mean, our offense, man, we hammered the ball last year, and we got everyone back, and they're another year stronger. I mean, I don't think there's going to be could be a better lineup offensively than we may throw out there. Honestly, just with the combination of things that we have coming back, the power and the speed and whatnot. So on the flip side of that, yeah, I mean, if we can defend and throw a little bit, then we're going to be right in the mix. I mean, we really will. But that's the name of the game. We could go down. Goshen's got everyone back, and they went to the semi-state. Northridge is always good. Northwood might be down a little bit. They lost some seniors. Warsaw's still going to be them. So, I mean, yeah, it's tough. That's what's fun. It's been fun for 14 years since I've been here, and that's kind of why I signed up for this. I love the competition piece, and we get to compete every single night. And it's going to be a really, really fun group, as was last year. I mean, I always look at the dugout and the camaraderie and the leadership, and we got a lot of those pieces back. I mean, and so I'm really looking forward to this year.
You mentioned some names that I've been fortunate enough in the job I have to kind of see your younger kids play every now and then. And Macias always has impressed me since he was in junior high. Dom, I really like Tom. I really have liked him
Yeah.
for a long time. And then you got Grady. I don't think he's even scratched the surface. But the thing with Grady Metzger, I guess I should say, is that he's such a competitor that even if he's off, he's going to figure out a way to give you a chance to win.
Yep. Yeah, I remember last year he was on the mound late in the game one time. And game's on the line, like the winning run or tying runs on base, and he found a way. And he may not always find a way, but you're going to get whatever it is that he has, whatever is in the tank. You're going to get from him, and he's not going to make an excuse if things don't go well. He's not going to say, "Well, it was his fault." He owns up. Right or wrong, I mean, he does things the right way, and that translates to everyone. I mean, the other guys, LT, Landon Tyler is going to be a junior. He's taking onus in the weight room. That dude is huge and throwing the ball hard. Seriously, I mean, just they've really. I'm so proud of what they've done and what Coach Latinsky's done for them. I mean, making them just into men and confident men and so forth, and it really shows. Sophomore wise, you still got like Grayson Terone, Clint Verhage, Christian Cruz Mahler.
Yep.
To go along with Aiden Macias, those are all the sophomores that kind of led the way last year a little bit in the JV. So I don't know. I could probably keep talking because I am excited. But we still got a lot of work to do. I mean, we still got to figure some things out. We're thin infield wise, and we could put outfielders for days. And we got to find some guys, like if Parker throws, who's going to play third. We may be able to move Ethan to third. So we got some things to just kind of figure out and make sure kids are comfortable when we do move them. I mean, that's always the thing. We're not going to put you there unless you're comfortable there. So, and then we really don't know those things until you can hit a smash ball on the gym floor, but that doesn't really simulate playing third base in a game. So we got to figure some things out there. But no, I mean, where I'm at right now, I mean, yeah, I feel really good. Does that mean we're going to win 25 games? I hope, but we still got a lot of work to do. But I do know the guys are going to come ready to compete. And that started last year with just kind of setting the tone and the expectation of, hey, I know 2 years ago we didn't have a very good year, and a lot of them said we're not doing that again, and figured it out and kind of getting back to where we expected to be.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. Just one of a bunch of conversations we're going to have as the year goes on, and looking at your young guys, the future's bright. And but like you said, they've got some stuff to learn, and you got some things to figure out. But I feel like you got everything going in the right direction.
Well, it's been fun, and I appreciate talking to you. And hopefully next time it's all this white stuff's gone, and we can maybe talk outside. So
we'll do that, man. It's Ryan Wolf, head baseball coach at Plymouth, and we'll take a break. And in this section of the Marion Ancilla pregame show, Tony Shube from Andrean, head coach of the Fighting 59ers, joins me. A lot of folks over here don't get a chance to see you guys play. If they do, it's at the regional level. Without giving away too much, why don't you give us a scouting report on your team?
We're young, we're inexperienced. We have one senior, one junior right now. We're a heavy man-to-man team. I don't think that's given away too much. If anyone has watched any film on us, they're going to figure that out really quick. We rely on our defense a little bit this year. We're struggling to put the ball in the basket, but our defense seems to travel each and every game for us.
Well, the other thing about it too, I've been at this long enough. You can throw out any girls basketball team, especially record from up where you play in the region there, because looking at your schedule, looking at the way they play basketball up there, I just you've been tested, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's something that we try to do every year. We played Valpo, we play Lake Central, we play Crown Point, a lot of the 4A schools, the Duneland schools, which is the big conference around here. Chesterton is involved in that too. So
We went to Illinois and played a really good team that as well. So there we don't shy away from playing good competition. I think that is what gets us ready for the postseason. I'd rather have postseason wins than regular season wins.
Yeah.
So we try to do whatever we can to prepare ourselves and to toughen us up to get ready for the postseason.
I was going to say, I know a couple of coaches over here, in particular, Dave Duncan used to coach at Plymouth. Wanted Duneland teams on his schedule because he felt it prepared him for the rough physical play that they were going to see, and that's the way they play up there.
Right. And when you play, like Valpo has Lily Barnes, she's one of the best players in the state. And so, we have played against some of the, better players in the state. And if we've been up against them, so we've seen basically everything that you can imagine, offensively and defensively and player personnel wise. So I just think it prepares us, for the postseason.
Looking at your numbers and all, that's all I've got to go on. But I mean, you mentioned your senior. I'm going to guess it's Leilani Staton she's leading you in a lot.
Yes. Yep. She's our lone senior. She's been a great leader for us. She's our point guard. And she's come along later, in this season and been a little bit more aggressive, looking to score. She was, for her first 3 years, she was primarily a defensive player, so we kind of asked her to step up this year, and she's done a pretty good job for us. She's probably, I haven't added in the postseason stats yet, but she's got to be, her and Delaney Myers are probably our leading scorers right now.
I was going to mention Delaney too, because you mentioned you had some good young players. She's by this just a sophomore, and looks like she's given you a lot this year too.
Yes, she's been, and I know this is probably not a great term to use, but she's an animal. I mean, she really is. She, the things that she does for us, it's a lot of her, just her will to win and her competitiveness. And, there's things that she does sometimes, like grabs a rebound and you're like, I didn't even know she was involved in that play. We get her, she's going to be guarding, she guards the best players, her and Leilani all the time, whether, with Delaney, if it's a post player, if it's a guard, if it's a point guard, we feel that she can guard all 5 positions. So, we have a lot of confidence in her, and we lean on her and Leilani quite a bit.
And I mentioned those 2 names just because they're on the stat thing here. They're one of your leaders in a lot of categories, but I'm sure you got other girls that are role players and do other things that make you guys who you are.
Yeah, we're still looking for. We have a lot of kids that we feel can shoot the ball. It hasn't panned out that well this year. We don't ever get the kids hot at the same time. I'm hoping that changes tomorrow night. But Michaela Hatt has done a good job for us. She's shooting the ball pretty well from 3, about a 34% clip. And then we just have some other kids that can knock down shots, and it just seems like they've taken turns on who's going to be hot and who isn't. So hopefully we can get them all on the same page and get them all firing on all cylinders tomorrow afternoon.
In a way, that seems like a good thing, because the other team looking at you just really doesn't know who to circle on that scouting report as the person to watch that night.
Right. Yeah. I think Leilani and I think Delaney get the best matchups, defensive matchups, and then after that, it's kind of a crapshoot for us, for the other team. They don't know. Because we don't know. We don't know who's going to be hot that day. So how are they going to know?
Right. Let's talk about your view of them. I mean, I asked you for a scouting report on you guys without giving away too much. So without giving away too much, when you look at Bremen, what do you see in them?
Well, their guards, number 15 and 21, they're heck of players, man. We really gotta kind of not only just guard them in the half court, but we got to guard them in transition too. 15, she sprints down the floor like no one I've seen this season. So we got to try to take away their easy baskets in transition. They're really good in transition. They're very tall. I don't know how physical those tall kids are. So we're kind of like you said, the Duneland's a physical conference. We play a lot of those teams, so we're physical in the paint. I hope that allows us to keep their tall kids off the boards. And I think it's going to come down to second chance points and transition baskets. And that's kind of how it. I think we defend in the half court pretty well. It's just, if we let 15 and 21 get loose in transition, or if we have defensive lapses where we're not communicating, and because they can shoot it, they can drive it. They're just really good all around basketball players.
Last question, once again, without giving away too much. What are your keys to the game to get a win?
I think I gave them to you right there. I think we got to dominate the paint. We talk about that a lot, and no second chances, and we got to cut off the driving lanes into the paint. Make them shoot from the outside. I know they have some shooters, but I'd much rather give up contested shots, especially twos, than getting into the lane. It just causes too many problems. We can foul, they can get layups, they can get offensive rebounds and fouls. So we're definitely going to try to, keep them out of the paint, keep them off the boards, and then transition defense is for sure. Like I said, I think we guard well in the half court as long as we can make it a half court game against them.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for taking the time. I appreciate it, and good luck to you. I guess we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you very much.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Max 98.3, coverage of the LaPorte Regional. Alex Robinson, head coach of the Bremen Lady Lions, joins me. And, man, I tell you what, I can't imagine sitting in your shoes. You just had a great year. You have to be really happy with where your girls have come.
Yeah, I think from start to finish, we've been a consistent team all year and checked off quite a few goals along the way. And now obviously we have some big goals toward the end of the year, and getting a sectional was huge for us. And now, we're exactly where we want to be.
I don't want to go back into the past much, but I mean, even the two losses you have, I got a feeling you'd love a chance to have another shot at both of those teams.
Yeah, I mean, both of those games were very close, competitive games. And the big thing is, taking a few losses throughout the season is, you can't get rattled and you can't try to reinvent the wheel and panic or anything like that. I think, both of those were good times for us to reevaluate a little bit. Obviously, the Elkhart Christian game right at the end of the season, heading into the postseason, doesn't give you a ton of time, but I wouldn't say wake up calls, because I think this is a very focused group. But just, it's always good to take a second and look in the mirror and realize that maybe there are some things you need to be working on, and just kind of see where you're at.
I was just about to ask you, do you feel like you learned something from those two losses, and what did you learn?
Oh, absolutely. I think, first off, I thought both of those were gritty games, facing different kinds of adversity and against a couple of very good teams. But yeah, just kind of going back and nitpicking and looking at a few things, maybe offensively where we thought we could have moved better. Defensively, maybe thinking, oh man, we could have switched out of something sooner, or, just things like that. Or even late game situations, kind of looking at, are we really prepared with, 20 seconds left or with a minute left in the lead, and just things like that sometimes it's easy to kind of gloss over, after a winning streak.
I got a feeling, though, with the group you've got, I don't imagine you have to work real hard in practice to get their attention. I got a feeling like you've got it. Yeah,
this is an experienced group, an older group that's been through it. And, I think they know the importance of showing up day in and day out and how that can translate into games. And, it's a group that we have so much trust in that, they're going to come focused and ready every day, that we really don't need to harp too much on effort. It's
Yeah.
not like we're not working hard today or whatever else. They come and they're ready to work, and they're competitive, and they know how that pays off. So, that's definitely one of the benefits of having such an experienced group.
You mentioned effort, and the other thing I feel like we talk about every time, or at least I talk about every time I talk with you, is body language and the feel you get from this group. I mean, watching Emma Kincaid fly into the bleachers at the end of the half the other night and save a ball for a long bucket at the end, and just the smiles on everybody's faces about pretty much everything. I mean, you get the feeling these guys I don't know. It's just it has to be a great group to be around.
Yeah, it really is. And I really don't take that for granted, because you don't always have it like that where, every day is an enjoyable day. And the body language, like you said, it's huge, because, that gives everyone confidence. And if you see one person that's down and kind of moping or whatever else, then sometimes that can be contagious on the team. And but the other way around goes the same way. If you see someone who's lively and energetic and hyping you up, then that tends to go through the team as well. So it's great to have a team with good body language, because they're never out of the game. You're always confident, and you always rely on your teammates, and you're in a good spot. So the mental aspect of it and body language is huge, and we're very fortunate to have a group that really keeps their head up and keeps moving no matter what's going on in the game.
We've spent a lot of time too talking about the three-headed monster, so to speak, and your three senior guards that are just having an outstanding year. But I think in the sectional round, having seen you play a couple of times, to me the Feathers girls showed during those couple of games that just how much they mean to the team. They just took turns, having their moments in games. They're really important.
Yeah, I think, coming into the season, I think everybody who knows us well knew about our three guards, and, knew that they were coming off. I think they were all first team all conference last year. So kind of knowing that they would pick up where they left off and even grow a little bit, which they have. But yeah, you're right. Our interior play has really given us a different dynamic this year. And, it gives us multiple options on the court: perimeter oriented, post oriented off a rebound, pick and rolls, different things. Defensively, they do such a great job defending the rim. We've been rebounding the ball really well. So they just give us a different dimension inside, and, kind of make it so that we really feel 1 through 5 on the court are all threats in their own ways.
And I got to say, from another coach taking a look at it, trying to make a scouting report, what do you try to take away? I mean, it becomes a roll of the dice on who's going to have a decent game that night.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something you always think about, is what might they try to do to us. And, I think a lot of times teams kind of end up just doing what they normally do, because, like you said, if you try something special, especially if you're not comfortable with it, there's a good chance that someone else is going to step up and have a big night on you. So, that's a privilege that we've got with the lineups that we have out there on the court. But yeah, if I was game planning against us, I don't think there would be a single thing that I would really have to try to take away. You just got to be solid 1 through 5 on the court. And that gives us an advantage most nights.
I know we haven't talked as much about Emma Lawmaster, but I mean, once again in the sectional, you talk about daggers. I mean, just at every key moment, she gets the ball in her hands and she'll take a shot, and man, it's just ice cold. She just buries it. She is really, that person that you just can't ignore her for a second.
Yeah, she's, whatever you want to call her, she's the glue player. She's our X factor. Her confidence has just grown so much this year. And like you said, hitting big shots. Or there's been a few games where, we're kind of in a stall on offense and have had a few bad possessions, and all of a sudden she makes a big shot or 2 big shots in a row. And she's just been huge for us with her shot making ability. She's probably been one of the more consistent players down the stretch for us here, but just, giving us what she gives night in and night out. On the defensive end as well, she's, I call her the deflection queen. She gets gets her hand on the ball all the time and forces steals, gets out in transition. And, she's also an extremely tough player, just a tough-minded, we'll get in there for rebounds or get on the floor and, just gives us a boost every single night.
Talking about your defense, I mean, once again, you're still allowing under 30 points a game on average for the season. And watching you play defense, I know I was talking to Peyton Skirvin, my partner, a little bit ago, and he's like, I don't know what you do. They play good defense. If you want to get in a half-court game, they're perfectly fine playing half-court. They'll get up and down the floor with you. I don't know what you do against them because defensively they're going to handle it.
Yeah, and we've just got good pieces in the right spots. If we need, to shut down a scorer or two, we're confident with our guards locking someone down. If we need to sit in a zone, I feel like we're really good and connected in our rotations and, our intensity. And just, I thought we've really brought a good energy on the defensive end all year. Just communicating, flying around, being there on the catch, contesting shots. And, I feel like we can play multiple ways defensively this year. Whereas last year we mostly just played a 2-3 zone and it was really good, but there's times where, teams get hot or whatever else. You just want to change the tempo of the game. And, this year I feel like we're more comfortable switching it up, which has really given us an advantage where, and with our experience, like I've said before, we can even throw out a defense that we haven't done all year and just do it on the fly. Like in the sectional championship, we played a triangle and 2, and we haven't done that once this year. And we did it pretty much from start to finish against Winnemac. So just these girls' attention to detail, and they're just gamers. And that really shows on the defensive end.
How do you feel? This is a big thing as you start down this stretch run, however far you're going to go. Depth-wise, I mean, I'm looking at some pieces that, we haven't talked about all year, like Lola Bender and people like that have come off your bench and given you some big moments. Do you feel confident with those players off the bench?
Yeah, absolutely. And, Lola, she's an outstanding freshman, and she's going to have some great years ahead. Just this year, she's been behind 3 amazing guards and, learning from them and practicing with them. And she's also gotten some big minutes. I mean, there was a Northwood game this year. We went to overtime where she played a lot in that game. Lawmaster was out, and she gave us some really good minutes and got some great experience. So, she's just a really smart player, and we absolutely trust her to get in there, depending on the flow of the game. And another one, Alicia Lopez. She's a junior that's, been through it with us now for 3 years, and really good defender, really smart player. And we think, our depth usually will go about 8 deep, maybe less, maybe a little more depending on the game. But we really feel confident with our depth as well.
Let's take a minute or two here and talk about Andrea. And I know I talked with Coach Shub a little bit earlier today, and he was kind of in that realm of what do we do against this team. We hope we can stay with him, but he was talking about hoping maybe they could get a half-court game going. But take a look at them for me. I mean, if you give me a scouting report, what would you say about them?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing that stands out to me is they play really good, solid defense. They're athletic girls. They're strong. They're competitive. They're really sound with their help side, and they're able to pressure the ball as well with some athletes. They've got some opportunistic defenders that, if you're not careful and you throw a lazy pass or a weak pass, they're going to get it and go the other way. And they're really just strong on the defensive end. They remind me of a few teams we've played this year, where it can be hard to probe a defense like that, getting in the paint, it's clogged up. So I think that's something that we're really aware of, and it's going to be tough to attack if we're not strong with the ball and ready for it. And then offensively, they're really balanced scoring. I think their leading scorer is averaging about 8.5 points a game, and it just kind of trickles down from there. So, their guard number 22, she kind of runs the show. She's a really good athlete, gets to the basket, can also shoot. But really down the line, pretty much all of them can score in multiple phases. They have a lot of girls who have hit a good amount of threes, have shot a good amount of threes. They can also get to the basket. So it's one of those where, maybe there isn't a solo person or idea that you're trying to really take away. It's kind of just, we're going to have to be solid against them because they're all really threats on the floor.
I would imagine too, it's kind of hard to get a feel for them when you're looking at them because, their record says one thing, their schedule tells you why their record is where it is. I mean, they've had a killer schedule. And the other thing is they play in that Duneland area. They're going to be physical.
Yep. Oh yeah. They're physical. They're tough. Their record, as far as we're concerned, is 3-0 as they went through their sectional. So we have no common opponents that we can really look at and compare. So yeah, records are out the window at this point. And I know they've won, I think, 7 sectionals in a row.
Yeah.
And some years their records are better than others. But, I think 2 years ago they came in with a record that was pretty similar to this year and knocked some teams off. So, yeah, we're definitely not looking at that regular season record and overlooking them at all because we know exactly what you mentioned. They're going to be tough, and they've played a tough schedule.
Talk about what you need to get done. I mean, how are you going to come out of here and take that next step?
Yeah, I think, just starting with our defense, being locked in, obviously if we can force some turnovers, that always works to get out in transition. That's usually when we're at our best. I think on the offensive side of the ball, continuous movement. If they're going to have, good help in the paint, we got to make them work away from the ball. Make sure that if, we're driving into the paint or cutting into the paint, that if we're stopped, we have options to get the ball to and that everyone's ready on the catch to shoot. And when we're in there, if we're going to go up strong. I think we have a little bit of a height advantage in there. So if we can, take advantage of that on the boards and in the paint, that would obviously help us out a lot. But, and then, in a championship style game, a lot of times it comes down to those 50-50 balls. It comes down to rebounding. You spend so much time on X's and O's, but it's always those little things that add up throughout the game. So just staying focused on that. And obviously we've got our scouting report, but I think just coming out with that focus and intensity for 32 minutes.
Coach, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. Good luck today. Get that win, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Alex Robinson, the head coach of the Bremen Lady Lions. And this segment of the Saturday Coaches Show, Coach Peyton Skirvin joins me, man. Thanks for stepping in. Thought we ought to talk about some of the games coming up. We got some pretty good ones.
Yeah, Rusty, we really do. It's going to be a really fun week coming up, and it's that time of the year where it all gets intense.
Let's start with today. I mean, in a few hours, we're going to be heading to LaPorte and get a chance to see Bremen play Andrean. Talked earlier with Andrean's coach today, and, he kind of says the same thing everybody says. Those 3 guards, that's where Bremen starts.
Yeah, Rusty, hey, we've done a few of their games now, and we know what those 3 guards bring to the table and, the weapons that they have from shooting from the outside and able to penetrate and create for others. But, it hasn't just been the guards that's helped get Bremen to this spot, and that's kind of what's made them a dynamic team to stop this year, and I think why they're going to be such a tough out, come to this game.
And I was going to say that the thing that jumps out at me from the sectional, I mean, obviously, Lawmaster and Kincaid and Grubbs, they're outstanding. But the Feather sisters, I think, kind of showed exactly what they mean to this team.
Yeah, exactly, Rusty. And it's funny because they go back and forth making an impact on the game.
Yeah.
You never know which one's going to be, in at the same, if they're going to be in at the same time. But when they are, it's a little bit of a challenge for you to keep them separate, Rusty. But it's even more of a challenge for the defense to match up with those two, the way they crash the boards and then also the way they defend the paint inside.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I think in that final game, I mean, Winnemac was making a run at him early, and Tegan and Skyley basically just said, not in the paint, you're not gonna.
Yeah, Rusty, and then when you combine that with the on-ball defense that you see out of the Bremen guards, man, they're a high-level defensive team when they do that, and their ability to score the ball is obviously unsaid.
You feel a little bit maybe like, if you had to pick a vulnerability, and, I'm just spouting here. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I feel like maybe just a little bit in depth. If they run up against a team that gets them into an up-tempo game, really up-tempo game, they may not have enough bodies to stay with them. Am I being stupid or?
Well, I think that's always a challenge when it comes to the tournament time, right? Do you have enough bodies to play those games you want to play? And sometimes only being able to go 7 or 8 deep can hurt you. But I also think that you have a Bremen team that you've got girls that play a lot of minutes night in, night out. And I really think that they're conditioned and that they're in the shape to kind of handle that, Rusty. But, the other part of that is foul trouble, right? And if you play a team, Andrean's going to be able to take care of the ball and attack the basket. So if those Bremen guards do get in foul trouble, Rusty, like you said, that depth might be tested, and that could be something that could hurt them.
Talking with Andrean's coach earlier in the day, he made the comment that he wants it to be a half-court game. He doesn't think they can get it because Bremen loves transition. They loved it to get out and get you sped up. He feels like if he can keep it a half-court game, they've got a chance to win it. I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I don't know that you can even win a half-court game with Bremen.
Well, we've just seen them play any way they want to. Really, they've been able to win all sorts of different games, and I think that's a testament to an extremely well serviced and a coaching staff that has seen a lot of different things, and they know how to respond and put a quality product out on the court, Rusty. And I think that the girls kind of buy into that. Man, you're talking about a Bremen team that they can run sets and they can defend you in the half court as good as anybody can. But yeah, like you said, they want to run, but they'll play any game they need to win.
And I feel like at the bottom line of all of it is simply the fact that, we've talked about it over and over and over again. People are probably sick of hearing us saying it, but you talk to any of these girls, you hang out with this team at all and watch them, watch their body language, watch the way they interact with each other. Number one, even the sectional final, Emma Kincaid has a smile on her face. She's laughing about things. The same thing with Grubbs. You're talking about there's an underlying swagger isn't the word I want because it's not an arrogance. It's just this quiet.
Yeah.
We know where we're going, and we're going to do whatever we got to do to get there.
And it's what championship teams, I think, are made of, Rusty. You've seen teams in the past that you show up and you expect to win. Not just to win, but you're going to dominate. And I think that's what you've seen with this Bremen group is they've accepted the fact that they've got the target on their back, and they're willing to be the team that's going to go out and just dominate and execute at the highest level. And it starts with the senior leadership and the coaching staff, but man, they've bought in and they do expect to come out and just win every game by as many points as possible.
Well, they'll need to beat Andrean here this evening. Our pregame will start at 4:30, and the tip-off is 5 at LaPorte for tonight. And then next week, really just one high school game. We got Knox and Plymouth. I know Plymouth's played them in that holiday tournament they've had. But, it's been a lot of years since Plymouth has played Knox in a regular season game. It's been a long time.
Yeah, honestly, it might have been my senior year the last time that we went into there and played them, Rusty. And it's one of those games you're kind of happy to see back on the schedule. It's, as physical as Knox always is, it's a game that can be a really fun one for fans of both teams. And can sometimes look like a football game out on the basketball court, too.
I have seen Knox play. It's funny you mentioned football. Most of their guys are football players, but they are really big. They are really athletic, and they really love contact. I think you're going to be impressed with this Knox team. I can't believe they haven't won more games. I think a lot of it has to do with early in the year, you got those football guys coming in late, and it just took them some time to adjust to being basketball players.
Completely right. There's you talk about sea legs and land legs, Rusty.
Yeah.
There's football legs and there's basketball legs. There's used to being on that grass and a little softer of an impact, and then going back and playing basketball. And it takes a while for you to kind of get that rhythm back and used to playing with your teammates again. But here's the thing about this Knox team, Rusty. They've got kids that know how to win.
Yeah.
They've got kids that are used to winning. And that bodes well come this time of the year when you start, having to find ways to win no matter what it takes. And then, you lose and you go home at a certain point. And so, having those qualities, those characteristics of being a really tough team, that's a good thing to have.
You make a great point there. That's why you want those athletes on your team because, especially if they've had success in other sports, they know how to win.
And that's a hard thing to teach, Rusty. It can be, you can learn how to lose really easily, but it takes time to learn how to win and get punched in the mouth and be able to respond. And I think that's going to be a challenge for Plymouth is they're going to be playing a team that, probably comparatively in skill, but you're playing a team that a lot of these kids have won in different sports and have found ways to toughen things out. And so this will be a true litmus test for this Plymouth, especially these Plymouth seniors.
I started thinking about that the other day, the whole learning to win thing. And I thought about, this time of year we talk about how, this is a team you don't want to face. They've got nothing to lose. I'm beginning to think that learning to win means playing to win and not even thinking about losing. You talk about you got to play to win, not to lose, or playing not to lose. You understand what I'm saying? It's the idea of you go out there, losing should never be in your mind, let alone playing not to lose. I mean, it just seems to me that when teams figure that out, they do win.
Mm-hmm. Moral victories mean nothing to coaches, Rusty. You know that. I mean, losing by 10, losing by 30, you lose. It doesn't matter. And so, like you said, man, that mentality and that belief that we're here to win every game and losing is not an option. I don't care if we're playing, who's supposed to be the best team in the state. It doesn't matter when we've got our group of guys. We're going to war for us. And the teams that do that are the teams that are really hard to beat.
Well, we got a couple of them coming up in about a week after this, maybe 10 days from now. Bremen and Triton. I know we talked about that briefly on our last game, but I'm really looking forward to that one. I don't know what both teams are going to be when they come in. I know Bremen finally caught one the other night and got beat, but man, those are two teams that are. To me, that game is the Marshall County Championship right there.
Oh, without a doubt it is, Rusty. Two extremely good teams. Two teams that they play two kind of different brands of basketball, but it's fun to watch them clash and watch those two coaches go at it. You may circle your calendars because you're going to want to see that one. You're going to hear that one. I'm going to assume that a lot of people that live in Bourbon and Bremen probably have had that one circled for a while. But we need the listeners and the viewers need to understand just how good of a basketball game that's probably going to be.
Yeah, that is going to be something to see, and that will be coming up. Let me take a quick look at the schedule here. Now, Plymouth Knox is Tuesday night. We'll have that one for you. Our pregame, as usual, at 7:00. But Bremen and Triton is the next Tuesday. Week after that, man, I don't know. It's going to be over at Bremen. It's going to be a lot of folks in that gym.
Yeah, then as we know that they're doing a lot of winning right now over at that school. This has been the winter of winning for the Bremen Lions. So we'll see if that can continue this weekend and next week.
Who would have thought that Bremen basketball would be the basketball story of the area this year? I mean, girls, it has been over and over again over the years, but the boys have really got something going now.
Yeah, I'm sure if you asked the two head coaches over there, they would have told you, yeah, this is exactly what we expected. But talk to some other people in the area, maybe not, but it's just the right combination of talent and a group of kids that are bought in.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking time to talk to me today, and I'll see you in a few hours as we will head to LaPorte once again. Peyton will join me. We'll have our play-by-play action of Bremen Lady Lions regional action. It starts with a tip-off at 5, but we'll start our pregame at 4:30, and hope you'll join us then. And, man, we'll see you in a little while.
Absolutely. Sounds good, Rusty.
Peyton Skirvin, and I will be right back with our Tony Ross Player of the Week. And we're with our Tony the Boss Ross athlete of the week here, Hayden Lute, swimmer from Culver. You're a senior, correct?
Yes, I am.
You're talking to an old swimmer, so I know a lot about what you did. I mean, conference record in both the 500 and 200, if I'm right.
Correct.
Those are two tough events.
They are.
Talk
Yeah.
about that. I mean, the 200 I always thought was the worst because you can't. It's kind of distance, but you can't swim it like a distance race.
Correct. Yeah, the 200 is kind of like the 800 in track. Like
Yep.
it's kind of a sprint, kind of not a sprint. So it's one of those that you got to be really mentally tough for, and really just kind of, I just say dog through the pain for that one. And same thing kind of with the 500. That's the longer one, so you can find a good steady pace for that one. And it's a long event, so it takes a lot of mental strength and being in it and focused and locked in.
Let's talk about that a little bit because I know that all the miles you put in practice. I mean,
Yeah.
I know what that's like. Hours and hours of just back and forth, What do you do mentally to keep with it? Because I mean, that could drive normal people out of their minds. You
Yeah.
got to find a way to occupy yourself.
Yeah, so like in practice, we do a lot of pace work, which really helps me because I like having that lock in. Like I know how it feels. Like when I'm warming up at a meet, I do my pace work because I know how it feels and it's steady. And I just have to constantly reassure myself, you've done this, you know how it feels, you can do this, and just not letting those negative thoughts flood my brain.
Did you ever swim a stroke or anything like that? Or?
I did on occasion, just like for fun, and when I'm going to college, I'm kind of swimming with the breaststroke a little more, which I do
really?
really enjoy the breaststroke. I swim that a decent amount in my club season.
I always thought that was the hardest stroke. I mean, that kick is almost impossible.
Yeah, so the kick is pretty hard to like master, but once I've broken it down a lot. I've been swimming for a long time, so I've had a lot of time to break it down and really find the technique that works best for me, so I enjoy it.
Let's talk about that a little bit too. I mean, people think, they just get in the water and they swim. I mean, your stroke is broken down. If you want to compete, you've got to really pay attention to tiny little mechanical things.
Yeah. So this year, in the past, I've had a lot of trouble short stroking, so coming into the water a little early and having a little extra water resistance on my arms. So this year, I did a lot of focus at the beginning of the year of elongating my stretch or my stroke and really utilizing my arms, and I have a little longer arms, so like really utilizing that whole grab of the water.
And it's different with every stroke too. I mean, you got to figure out what works, what doesn't. Things have changed since I was swimming. I mean, they let backstrokers turn over to do a turn now. I used to have to hit the wall and flip backwards.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, even turns. I mean, in a 500, 200, you can save so much time on those.
Can.
I mean, how much time do you spend practicing those?
We, at the beginning of the season, almost every day for about 10, 15 minutes at the end of practice, we were hitting our turns. I have an injury that I kind of have to work around with my turns, so just really breaking it down on how I can still get my turns fast and effective and cut those seconds off with my turns and my underwaters.
What kind of an injury did you have?
I had a disc pop out of my lower back, and it's worked its way back in now, but it just still is enlarged sometimes and just causes me pain sometimes on that turn because of the crunch that you're having to do.
How do you deal with that when it does get you?
We have a great trainer here, and he works on it. I've done cupping, and going to the chiropractor really helps, and rolling out, just making sure I'm really loose and just keeping my body in the best condition it can be.
Talk about the sport itself. I mean, I know you keep a team score, but it's an individual sport. How is that mentally to you? I mean, is it more important for a win for you or for the team or for both? I mean,
so we do have a small team. We only have 3 Culver swimmers. We have one girl that swims on our team, but she goes to South Central, but they don't have a team. So she trains with us, competes with us, but represents South Central. So for us, it's not about getting the team win. It's about getting those individual wins and PRing and doing what's best for you, and not because of our numbers, we're not going to win big meets or really any meets, to be honest. Right. So just getting those individual wins are very important for us.
How do you feel your season went? Did you have a good year?
Yeah, I had a great year. my goal at the beginning of the year was to get the conference record in the 500. I already had it in the 200, so re-breaking it was a nice feeling. But that 500 record was really what I was setting in and working really hard towards. And then that translated into sectionals, and I was placed second in the 200 and sixth in the 500. We had a lot of great girls swimming 500, and it was really close races. Just really helped me throughout my whole season, and it went really well. It went just how I would have imagined.
Talk about the sectional a little bit too, because I know that's always the highlight of everybody's year. And I know it's weird to think of it, but I didn't really ever know a swimmer didn't swim their best time in the sectional.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that big a deal.
Yeah. So, like I said, the 500 was kind of my main focus for most of the year. Well, we got the seed sheet for sectionals, and I was seeded very well in the 200. And Coach Martin was like, I believe that you can win this. And so, we only had a week in between conference and sectionals to kind of flip the focus, but because I had been training distance, my paces were consistent, my endurance was built up, and so we really nailed in on kind of quickening my pace and, did really well. And I love sectionals personally. Yeah. It's great competition. We're getting to compete against larger schools, and it's just the morale is so fun. And
it's like a big festival. You've got all these people in this room, all of you are doing the same thing, and there's this whole feel of, we're all in this together, even if they're not on your team.
Yeah, because around here, swimming isn't as big as it is in some bigger towns, so getting to go and compete against those big schools and just everyone in the room having that genuine love for the sport, and just it's so loud, and the morale is so high. Everybody wants, on prelims, everybody wants to make the top 16, everybody wants to make the top 8, everybody on finals, they want to get on that podium, and so just the energy just is amazing.
I was going to say, you mentioned the noise. It's one of the few times you have a lot of people in the stands cheering you on.
Yes. It is. The energy just really helps. My parents always ask me, can you hear me when you're swimming? No, I can't. The water, my calf, I can't hear you. But just the yelling, I can hear that there's noise. So just that helps a lot at sectionals.
I don't think fans understand the kind of, and I think it's that true with every sport. When you're hearing people cheer for you, it makes a difference.
It really does. We had our bell game last night against Argus.
Yeah, I was there.
And we talked about it today, how our student section just really helped bring that morale up. We played in semi-state for volleyball last year, and at sectionals, regionals, just the student section and all of the fans cheering just really was wow, we have this community, we can do it for them, and it just brings your energy up so much. It's hard to stay down when you have that energy from the fans.
I want to get, you mentioned volleyball. I want to get to your other sports and stuff too, but let's start with swimming. When did you start swimming?
I started swimming competitively when I was in kindergarten.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. What got you going? Was it just you wanted to try, or?
So my family is always out on the lake. We're always doing stuff. Yeah. So my parents put me in lessons so I was safe when we were out. Yeah. And it just kind of clicked. I just fell in love, and I was, it got to the point I was playing basketball for a little bit. It got to middle school, and my parents you got to choose, and I chose swimming, and I'll never look back on that decision.
I'm assuming that swimming is your favorite.
It is.
Now, you said you play volleyball. Mm-hmm. How long have you been doing that?
I have been playing volleyball since I was in 5th grade. So what is that? I don't know how many years that is. I'm not good at mental math.
Neither am I.
8 years.
5th grade, 3.
8 years.
I'll figure it out later. So, what got you into that?
Really just my friends. I moved when I was in 4th grade to Culver, and at my previous school we didn't have as much intramural volleyball as we do here in Culver, and so my friends were like, oh, you should totally try it out, Coach Andrea has a really great young kids program, and I was like, yeah, sure, I want to spend time with my friends. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it.
And once again, that's a big program here.
It is.
Volleyball is one of the highlight programs.
It is, yeah.
How does it feel to be a part of that?
It feels great. Coach Andrea helps us represent Culver so much. She's helping us in the gym every day, working out, and it just feels great to be able to represent your school in so many ways.
Let's talk about that a little bit too. I mean, how much off-season work have you had to put in? Obviously, you said you're going to go to college to swim. You're going to have to keep. It's going to be worse then.
Yeah,
but I
it
mean,
is.
how much did you do while you were in high school?
Honestly, I didn't do a whole lot of off-season training because I am in a fall and spring sport as
Right,
well.
yeah.
So I didn't have a lot of time. It just was a lot of fatigue on my muscles to be training swimming as well. But in the summer, I was in the water pretty consistently. But I'd say it falls back to, we have a great weights program here. Mr. Evans does a great job getting us in our physique and how we can be as athletes and explosiveness. And then having those other sports just keeps me in good shape for swimming.
What do you do in the spring?
In the spring, I do softball.
Oh, okay. I've probably seen you play that
Probably.
too. And once again, I mean, I'm going to go back to that. I had boys that were all three-sport athletes, and there are a lot of stresses pulling you in 100 different directions.
Yes.
Got to be here for this. Got to be here for that. Do you feel like you had a good balance? Because I feel like sometimes that gets lost. I mean, coaches want you to be better,
Yeah.
but there's some days where I just want to go fishing or something. I mean,
right. I would say I had a good balance. The coaches in Culver are all very good at cohesively working, and so they kind of understood where my desire was in swimming, and they understood, that's where she wants to be. We're going to let her be there. She's still working out. She's still getting in shape for our season. Although it's not the exact same sport, swimming is one of the hardest sports. I mean, it's up there with wrestling. It's pretty
Right,
hard.
yeah.
So, getting myself in that cardiovascular shape has really helped through swimming. And, and my coaches also understand sometimes you need a day off. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just want to hang out with your family, hang out with your friends. And so they're really good about giving us those days off and letting us still be teenagers in high school.
I was going to say, I just remember that we used to work out with the wrestlers in the morning, and
yeah.
I used to think to myself, we're nuts.
Yeah.
They're out of their minds.
Yeah.
What they do is unbelievable.
It's hard, yeah.
Let's talk about you a little bit. Obviously, you have family. Your mom and dad's names?
My mom's name is Julie Lute, and my dad's name is Alex Lute.
And brothers and sisters?
I have one younger sister. She's in 8th grade. Her name's Isabel Lute.
Does she swim?
She does. Yep. She swims club. She took the year off this year, but she's getting back in the water for high school next year.
Do you have a favorite class in school?
Probably my weights class.
Okay.
Pretty generic answer for an athlete, but I just love it. The morale in there is great. It helps me in so many ways. Like people don't talk about it enough. How sports can help you in your academic classes.
Right.
It teaches you how to be gritty and how to do things when you don't feel like it. And I just think Coach Evans has helped me with that so much.
And I got to feel like at Culver, it's kind of the same as where I went to school. Is if you don't get your grades done, you aren't participating.
Yeah. A lot of the coaches here are teachers, so they're constantly in there checking our grades, making sure that we're being a student and before we're being an athlete.
This sounds like a weird question. What hour do you have weights?
7th hour.
Okay, so you end the day with it.
Yes.
Okay. I always thought first with a lot of guys was best because that starts their day out with that.
It puts them on a high. I had that for a while, but I was doing morning practices at the time,
Oh,
so it just
yeah.
wasn't working out. But I love 7th hour too, so.
College, where are you going?
I'm going to Albion.
Okay.
It's a small school in Michigan, not far from Kalamazoo.
Definitely heard of it. I had a friend that went there.
Oh, that's cool.
100 years ago. And so you're going to swim.
Yes, I am.
I'm sure they've already got you on a program that they want you to meet certain criteria as you go in.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep, they're training for their conference right now, so contact with coach has been a little more distance because he's so locked into their
Right.
conference, which
Yeah.
I completely understand. But he's still doing a great job checking in on my season and stuff.
What do you want to study when you get there?
I'm going to be studying elementary education, but
Oh, okay.
I'm also going to be getting my licensing in special education. So
Okay.
the end goal is teaching special education.
I had a friend who did that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he was a history teacher, but he got special ed. He's taught special ed for 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's a good
It
endorsement
is.
to have.
It is.
Well, Hayden, thank you for spending time with us, letting us get to know you, and good luck as you go down the road. I'm sure we'll hear from you again in the future.
Thank you.
That is Hayden Lute, our Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. It's time to announce this week's Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week, given in honor of our comrade, longtime Marshall County and Max 98.3 broadcaster Tony Ross, who died suddenly a year ago, and to his legacy, which is a dedication to his craft an unending work ethic, and especially devotion to the athletes and the coaches in the area. It's a legacy we try to honor each week with this award, and we'll tell you who this week's winner is right after a word from Johnson Danielson Funeral Home.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And this week's winner is Jersey Hunter, gymnast for Plymouth High School. This week she took the school record in the vault just to add it to her current school records on the beam and an all-around that she won earlier in the year. She is a heck of a gymnast, and she is our athlete of the week. Jersey will receive a certificate, a history of the award, and a T-shirt commemorating her achievement. She'll also be a future guest, hopefully next Saturday on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Jersey will be eligible for our Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Year Award later this spring, which carries with it a plaque and a college scholarship. That's compliments of Max 98.3 and Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. The Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Johnson Danielson Funeral Home in Plymouth. And Jersey Hunter is our winner this week, a gymnast at Plymouth High School. It's going to do it for this week's Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Make sure you tune in next week. Already planning some Triton guests. We've got a new volleyball coach over there. And I've been in touch with Jim Shively, one of the, he was the baseball coach there when they won the state championship. That whole team and him has been named to the Hall of Fame at Triton. We're going to try to talk to some of them as well coming up next week. And later on today, join Peyton Skirvin and myself as we head to LaPorte. It's Bremen against Andrean. It is regional basketball action in the IHSAA Girls Tournament. That'll start with our pregame at 4:30 and our tip-off at 5. Don't forget, if you need sports information 24/7, just go to our website, sportstothemax.net, our Facebook page, Sports to the Max, or pick up any old broadcast, old game, old coaches show, anything we put on the air. You can get the podcast at, you guessed it, YouTube's Sports to the Max. I'm Rusty Nixon. Have a great weekend.